You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Ian, look at this.
What, it's a police box. What on earth's it doing here? Well, these things are usually on the street. I feel it. I feel it. You feel it?
Faint vibration.
It's alive.
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup celebrating nearly 50 years of the Doctor Who universe. Hold tight. You never know where the TARDIS is going next.
Blossom, yes, blossom. That's the only sad thing. I want to know what happens next. Right then. Doctor whoever I'm about to be. Tag. You're it.
When are these teeth? What? What?
Hey there, Whovians. Welcome to another episode of the Earth Station Who podcast. That's right, folks. We're back, and we're going back to the Third Doctor era, and we are looking at Monster of Peladon. That's right. It's the second in the Peladon series. Well, is there really a Peladon series?
I don't know. Can
on
you call
Doctor
it
Who? But it also is the second to final story of the Third Doctor. And he has Sarah Jane Smith as his companion, and it'll be a lot of fun to talk all about this one. And we have a great crew, of course, as always. We have, of course, Ms. Mary Ogle here.
Hi, everybody. It is so fantastic to be here.
And, of course, Mr. Mike Gordon is here.
Howdy.
You ready for some fun Doctor Who tales tonight, my friends?
Yes.
Well, tails, anyway.
Wait. So we're not covering Monster of Peladon? No,
Wow. Yeah.
And
Yes.
Hey, that was
our review.
that was harsh. That was harsh. Sorry.
No, I
Even
think you were
from you,
spot
Mike
on.
Gordon, that was very harsh. Wow.
Boy.
Yep, we are going back to the wonderful year of 1974. We are looking from March 23rd till April 27th. 6 episodes, folks. We had to sit through 6 episodes
So
of
you don't
the
have
Monster
to.
of Peladon. Exactly. So it was an interesting story. A lot of, familiar scenery, walking through caves and the palace. Pretty much they used the same set that they had for the first time around.
They pretty much used the same story as the first time around.
Yeah, pretty much.
With a lot of the same characters.
To a point, you had the wonderful Alpha Centauri, and instead of the king, you had his daughter, the queen.
Yeah, she did
And
nothing.
Most of the folks in this story didn't do anything.
Did nothing. Even Sarah
Exactly.
Jane.
Oh, I was actually really disappointed with Sarah Jane in this one. And this is probably like the first storyline that I felt that way, that I've seen of hers.
Yeah, I was very sad to see how Sarah Jane was used or not used in this story. And in fact, she was kind of whiny in this story.
Which is so unlike her character.
Yeah, it didn't feel like Sarah Jane at all.
I wonder if the story was written for someone like Joe Grant or something, and they just kept the script or something after Katie left.
It's possible.
Yeah. And they just said, okay, let's just throw in here and everything. Oh, you got to see, the doctor do some amazing stunt work and
Sword fighting.
sword fighting, his judo, and it was interesting. Let's just say that. So, it was nice to have the Ice Warriors back, and the evil Ice Warriors on top of it, because the last time we had them back, which was the Curse of Peladon, they were the good guys. They weren't bad in that because they were part of the Federation.
Yeah, they are not the good guys here.
Nope.
So that opens up a question. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna. I know that we watched and reviewed Curse of Peladon.
Yes.
I don't know how long ago that was, but I had completely forgotten it. So that when this started, I was like, "Man, this seems like I've seen this before."
That's because you have.
So it took me a little while to after the first episode, I'm like, I had to stop and say, okay, let me look and see what's going on here. So, I mean, have I seen this before? So then I looked up the original one, and of course that one features the Ice Warriors as well, which leads me to wonder, the Ice Warriors, I've always thought of them as just a Mars-based race. So at some point they left Mars and expanded, or is this supposed to be really far away in the history?
You mean, actually, is this before or after?
Yeah. This is after. This is
before they went to Mars, or after?
Yeah, that's my question. Because it seems like, did they leave Mars and then make an empire somewhere else, or are they, if they're still on Mars, if that's still their base, then this must take place way in the past, right?
Yes and no. Because
timey-wimey.
Wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey. There were times when when they first appeared that they were trying to invade Earth during the Second Doctor era.
From Mars?
And then from Mars.
Okay. Yeah.
And then in the 12th Doctor era, they were on the moon in the 1800s. As you do. And that at the end of it, the 12th Doctor introduced them to the Federation for possible membership. And then these stories, the Peladon stories, take place in Earth's future.
I had forgotten about that. We had a little prequel.
Yeah.
There.
And so basically if that's the order technically you have to go. So you go Second Doctor, 12th Doctor, then Third Doctor with it. Because you don't see the Ice Warriors at all. You see them in the comics and such, but you don't see them at all until you get to the 12th Doctor after this storyline. This is the last time you see them. Actually, no, it's the 11th Doctor.
Didn't Matt Smith have an Ice Warrior?
That's what exactly, the one Ice Warrior on the submarine.
Yeah, Cold War. And then you saw them, but that they didn't say when that was in the order. So
yeah, I don't think they said anything about the history in that one.
No. So, but that's the order technically it goes.
Okay, so it sounds like they originated on Mars, but they branched out Mars because of the 12th Doctor.
I'm looking at their Wikipedia because we all know that's 100% accurate.
Wikipedia is always true, folks.
It said the Ice Warriors originated on Mars, which within the series' narrative is a dying world. Their early appearances depict Ice Warriors as attempting to conquer Earth and escape their planet as early as Earth's Ice Age.
Right.
So that's way in the past.
Right,
a frozen group are discovered.
Right.
Yeah. By them, and that's their first appearance. Despite this not being the name of their species, an Ice Lord later refers to his soldiers as Ice Warriors in Monster of Peladon. So that's the first time they are actually called Ice Warriors, I guess, is in this serial.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just say that subsequent appearances have depicted them as having eschewed violence and even ally himself with the Doctor. So it's not really clear in here anyway, exactly what their history is. But I just was trying to place this, whether this was, I knew it wasn't on Earth, although they do mention Earth. So I
Peladon.
figured it. Right, I figured it would be sometime in the future, but I don't know. It just seemed like this, not on Earth, but it's still in the past because of what I knew about the Ice Warriors and.
No, these stories are in the future of Earth. Gotcha. Because the Federation, Earth is one of the founding members of the Federation.
Yeah, they talk about Earth being part of the Federation.
Right, right. Well, of course. I mean, we all see Star Trek. We know that Earth is like the center of the Federation.
Well, duh.
Come on, every time they say Federation, you're thinking Starfleet, right? Like you're thinking like Star Trek.
Don't let Kirk find out about this.
I mean, the original series had already come and gone at this point.
Yes.
And they probably didn't feel like, they didn't have any problem mining from it because they never felt like, well, that show's never going to come back. Like it's 1974, they do the original series is gone by then. And I think the animated series, if I'm not mistaken, Mike, is going on or aired by this time.
73, 74.
Right. So, I mean, I guess it's got some legs, but I mean, Doctor Who is like, yeah, we've been around for a while. That's just a flash in the pan over there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because Doctor Who already was on its 12th season.
Star Trek stole the Cybermen and turned them into the Borg, so.
Yeah,
isn't payback a bitch?
They trade back and forth.
Yeah. So I was trying to figure that out while I was watching it. In addition to trying to remember that, I don't know. I have to go back and listen to our episode or whatever because I don't know what I ranked The Curse of Peladon as a story, but the fact that I have zero memory of it or like only vague memory of it. Doesn't put it high on the list of TARDISes. So, it wasn't like this was like, oh, we're back here. How cool.
Yep. We reviewed basic Curse of Peladon back on Earth Station Who, episode 171.
Wow. Is that before Mary?
No, Mary started with episode 100.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I remember doing it.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. That said, it's 6 episode third Doctor story, so there's a lot of padding.
A lot of padding.
Very, very limited sets here. We're just going back and forth to the same locations, back and forth. And may I point out that secret passage to the mines is like the worst kept secret on the planet.
Pretty much everybody knows about it.
Everybody, even the Ice Warriors are like, let's go back to the mine. Like, I was like, what's the point of like even having a curtain at this point over it?
Well, exactly. It's like,
that wasn't obvious.
What enough. Are you trying to hide, folks? Come on. And there were a couple times when they were playing with that torch lever that it felt like it was about to pop off the wall.
Yes. Yeah, it looked like it was about to fall, and the actors were desperately trying to keep it in.
Keep it upright, yeah.
And it's a real shame. I mean, you already mentioned about Sarah Jane, and it seemed like in the second or third episode they were she was bonding with the Queen, and I thought that was going to go somewhere interesting, but it went nowhere. Like you've got 6 episodes here, you can do something with this, and they don't.
They
don't do anything with it. Yeah, there's
no
reason to think that after the Doctor and Sarah split, like this system of government is going to last very long.
No, she's just as much a puppet at the end as she was at the beginning. There's no growth there at all because she does not do anything.
She doesn't really understand what happened. I don't bode. It doesn't bode well. If in fact we return to Paladin, I don't expect things to be that much better. So I know they have returned in there in the Big Finish, but
exactly.
I don't know any more details than that. So I don't.
It's been 5 years since we actually listened to the first one. So in maybe 5 years, we'll go back and listen to the Big Finish.
I mean, I also have to say Alpha Centauri is like the most incompetent ambassador that ever walked Peladon or any other planet. I mean, oh man, they have no idea.
I don't know how to run these controls. I don't know what to do.
You could tell Eckersley was the bad guy from like the moment he opened his mouth on screen. It's like incredibly obvious. and he has no idea at all. And it just takes bad advice and does stupid things and doesn't listen at all. I'm like,
No, it's
wow.
a good way to put it.
Yeah, I did like, once the Ice Warriors were involved, I was like, okay, this stepped up a notch for me, because I do like the Ice Warriors.
Yeah.
And I did like the character and the actor playing him, Commander Azaz or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The commander of the Ice Warriors. He was pretty threatening and pretty good chewing scenery.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked him as a bad guy. I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think like the last 2 or 3 episodes are definitely better than the first half.
Oh yeah,
because something's happening.
Right.
Right.
All you had were miners being vaporized by this holographic monster. It was like, really? It's like, it just was not good. And then when the Ice Warriors popped up, the commander actually was very fair. This is your trial. Just talking to him. But then again, you're a formidable foe, Doctor. Blah blah blah. And he wasn't like the diabolical, guy who's doing soliloquies or talking about his plans,
monologuing.
Yeah, exactly. So I found that at least somewhat interesting for that.
Yeah, you could kind of tell he was frustrated. He's like, we've had like 10 ways to kill this guy, and we haven't done it yet. What the hell?
And how many times did the Doctor die in this storyline?
Yeah.
And Sarah fall apart each time because she believed it?
It's like you would think by like the 3rd or 4th time she would be like, maybe he's not dead.
Yeah, exactly. I found it interesting. I mean, this is not her first rodeo. And so she's been traveling with the 3rd Doctor for a little while now. And I do like the fact that she's just like, during the first part, she's just like, can we just go? Like, let's just get out of here and go. Let's leave their problems. Their problems are their problems, right? Let's just get out of here. But apart from that, I was surprised when she didn't recognize the Ice Warriors, because I thought she had been in one with them, but maybe, I guess not.
No, it was Joe Grant.
And she doesn't seem to really know, like, I guess she hasn't really done a lot of like future ones or whatever, because she doesn't seem to really understand like the Federation and how things are working and all that kind of stuff. So, but that just could be because she's not written well. Maybe because she's written like Joe Grant.
Yeah, well, she's not written well, but I don't think she's really encountered that either.
No.
So the other thing I noticed is that they kept talking about Galaxy 5, and I know that Galaxy 4 is a whole serial with the 1st Doctor. Is there any relation there?
It's the galaxy right next to it.
It's the galaxy next door. I kept thinking.
I don't think I've ever really.
5.
I don't think I've ever heard like the galaxies or areas in space referred to in Doctor Who as like numbers, like Galaxy 1, Galaxy, like, This is one of those rare exceptions. I thought Galaxy 4 was just a serial, but it looks like they tried to actually expand it out to a Galaxy 5, and I don't think there's mentioned again another galaxy, at least not that I've seen.
I think they just didn't have a lot of imagination. So we're like, what are we going to call the galaxy? We had Galaxy 4. Let's call it Galaxy 5.
I mean, they named the ambassador Alpha Centauri, and I'm like, that's not a name.
No, it didn't even make sense. Just make up a name.
It is kind of disappointing. I mean, this is Barry Letts and Terrence Dicks, and usually they have a pretty good track record. It's the last story written by Brian Hales, who has written, he wrote the first one, Curse of Peladon. And he also wrote The Smugglers and Seeds of Death. So I don't know. I know Seeds of Death was, I think, pretty interesting, if I remember correctly.
I
feel like we liked Seeds of Death.
I think so. Smugglers doesn't ring a bell with me.
Isn't Smugglers missing?
Oh, is it?
Isn't that a missing?
Oh, yeah, it is missing. Yeah, it's completely missing the first serial. Yeah, it says so, or the first part of that. Yeah, so that's missing. So yeah, I mean, I expect you expect better from this team. I mean, obviously you can't stay on target every time. Every once in a while, a shot misfires, but yeah.
Yeah,
the idea of going through this was not great.
No, it just felt kind of phoned in, especially the first part. I will agree with you. Once the Ice Warriors show up, it does get better, but it's a slog getting through those first 3 episodes to get there.
Well, getting to that point was torture.
It's pretty boring.
Mm.
It's
and I love the special effects they used for that alarm with the circles around the people's heads.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, somebody was Kodachroming it in. Just like, wow. It was just really, really interesting. And it was also, I found really neat that you got the TARDIS at the beginning and then at the end, but you didn't see the interior of the TARDIS once in this. I wonder if this is the period when the TARDIS interior was all damaged or something. Because, and this is in real life, not in Doctor Who, because now the TARDIS is being repaired, because it's blah blah blah. But back then, I know that the original TARDIS set had been very water damaged, and the wood was warping and stuff like that, and they had to rebuild it.
I wonder.
Yeah, I'm not sure when that happened.
They were going to build a new interior anyway for Tom.
For Tom. Well,
this is what
this is the second to
last one.
Yep, because next one is the Spider Planet.
Yeah, which we did review.
Yes, and we actually liked that one, but that was when we were doing all the regenerations,
right,
and everything. So.
Generally speaking, I like the Third Doctor stories. They usually move, even though a lot of them are 6 parts. They usually move pretty well. Mm-hmm. But then again, a lot of them are the ones certainly on Earth-based feature the Master, which is always really cool.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's not in this at all. And I don't know. I don't want to say it suffers just because of that. I mean, it suffers for a lot of other reasons too.
By this point, Delgado had been killed in the auto accident. That was because he passed away between the season with when Joe and then Sarah took over.
Okay.
And everything, and he was in an auto accident. That's why you didn't see the Master at all in this season.
Yeah.
And so, that was also one of the reasons Pertwee left the show, because him and Delgado were really good friends, and he was really shook up by what happened.
Yeah, I could see that being hard to continue after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like the Third Doctor most of the time. This just isn't a very well written story.
Yeah, no. I mean, John's all right in it.
He does the best he can with what he's given.
Right. Yes, he rises up above the material, and unfortunately, poor Elizabeth is just drowning, and she can't rise up because she's given nothing.
Yeah, I mean, really, seriously, nothing. It is sad how underused she is here, and how, like you said, there was, instead of all the filler. You could have developed a relationship between her and the Queen, and they could have been, trying to sabotage things or whatever. And nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I don't disagree with either of you guys. There was just a lot of weirdness in this one. And so.
Let's think about the title, because I keep saying in my head and everything, I keep saying monsters plural. Peladon, and it's just Monster. The title is Monster, and I'm like, well,
Aggedor.
They're not really referring to Aggedor, because Aggedor is not really a monster in this. The real monsters are the humans.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know if that's what they were going for or not, but
It's
I mean, of course,
greedy
Aggedor
scientist.
Aggedor looks awful as a costume.
Oh, the costume was awful, and the afro wigs that the poor miners had to wear.
Yeah, that was an
the blonde
unfortunate
streaks
choice.
in it. Yeah,
I like those. I will admit, I like that. I did dig that. I thought it was simple, but yet kind of cool.
I thought they looked like
very 70s.
They had some leftover Bride of Frankenstein wigs, and they just cut them down.
Exactly. Or maybe they got the wigs cheap from Mel Brooks or something from Young Frankenstein or something. No, Madeline Kahn doesn't need those wigs anymore. So take them. They're cheap.
Yeah, and they're not well-fitting wigs either, and that's not helping.
No.
Yeah, there's some that are better than others, for sure. For sure.
Mm-hmm. And it was just ridiculous. The one guy who was the attaché to the Queen, he was basically the religious, guy and everything. And, for the first 3 episodes, he was trying to kill the Doctor because he was, he is a traitor. He is with Galaxy 5, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, he shows all this compassion to Sarah after the Doctor's killed for the 3rd time on the show. He was a good man. He was a really, and I was like,
yeah,
where did this guy come from?
Yeah, not exactly a well-developed character.
No, I think they were leading, like they wanted to lead us, because doesn't that happen in the first one where the religious figure was Chancellor or whatever, was bad, like went bad, or was like trying to usurp all the power.
Yeah, or
and you kind of felt like bad. Yeah, you kind of feel like that's set up to be the same way here, but of course he's just an ass.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's not a traitor. He's just an ass.
He's just an ass.
He just doesn't.
On the
feels
next
threatened
Pertwee
by
box set, that's what it will say on the bottom of it.
That'll be the tagline.
Yeah. He wasn't a traitor. He was just an ass.
Yeah, he just was threatened by the Doctor and every outsider there is. So,
of course.
Yeah, he was just sort of your classic xenophobe.
Mm-hmm. And they have him so often on Doctor Who. So. But it was interesting. And, I can't say this was a stellar one, folks. I really can't.
I'd skip it.
It's not one I would show it to a first-time viewer.
Oh, God, no.
Maybe not even
No, and
viewer.
Even if it was somebody, I want to watch a 3rd Doctor story. Right. Do not show
not this one.
No.
There's a lot of good ones.
I don't think it's the worst, although I'd have to really sit down and think about the worst. And there's still a lot of John Pertwee ones I haven't seen, so I don't know if I can really qualify to make that decision at this point. But I believe that I don't think it's horrible, but it's just not. There's so many that are better.
Yes, agreed. So let's go ahead and rate this one. 1 out of 5 TARDISes, 1 being the worst. And remember, 1 is the worst, folks. We can't. And 5 being the best. So I'll let Mike Gord go first tonight.
I'm just going to give it a 2.5. Just because it's just there. It's just like
it really sums it up.
It doesn't really do anything great, but I don't think it does anything absolutely terrible either. I didn't feel like when I was watching this, I'm like, oh my God, I need something. What else can I do? I mean, it still moved, and I still like watching. Even though she was handled poorly, I still miss Elizabeth Sladen, and it's nice to see her. It's really nice to see her.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's always cool to see John Pertwee as well.
Of course. It's always great to see Pertwee. All right, Mary, what do you got?
I'm going to go even lower, even though I really love John Pertwee and Elizabeth Sladen, but I'm only going to give it a 2. Mostly because it's just so many missed opportunities. I mean, just to have an actress like Elizabeth Sladen and a character like Sarah and do nothing with them is a crime. So for that alone, I'd take off 3 points. So yeah, and I would really counsel everybody, unless you're really, really like a completist, you're perfectly fine with skipping this one.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go with 3 on this one. And I respect what everyone says and everything. I gave it a 3 because you got Pertwee fight scenes. And
well, those are kind of cool.
Yeah,
those are
that's
fun.
True.
Yeah, I think those were some of the best parts of the story. The sword fight, the knockout, fighting and everything. Seeing the stunt double a couple times instead of Pertwee when, Pertwee got flipped or something. And it was just like, oh, there's the stunt double. So it was a ton of fun to watch, and it was cheese at its best. And like you said, if you're a completist, by all means, watch this one. But if you are a newcomer to the Pertwee era or Doctor Who in general, please pass this one up, and we can give you a full list of ones that are much better.
Yeah. If the title of a Third Doctor story has the word Peladon in it, you can skip
it.
Yeah.
Just not great.
Yeah.
We won't.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what I ranked the original, the first one. But the fact that I have basically no memory of it, it tells me that it's not necessary.
Yeah.
If anyone ever wants to go back to episode 1 and listen all the way through and make a spreadsheet of what each person rated those, that would
my goodness!
Oh my god!
Yeah. So, you know what? I think that would be a great challenge, and we'll give you an ESO reward for doing it.
You'll get a sticker.
You'll get a star on your forehead. So it would be kind of cool. So definitely, that's going to wrap up the episode for tonight, folks. Thank you guys for listening so much. Mr. Mike, thank you as always.
And as always, it's my pleasure.
Ms. Mary, you want to promote your stuff?
Yes, you can find me at maryogle.com or on Etsy at eVisionArts.
Awesome. And of course, before we get out of here, depending when you're listening to this episode, we are going to be at Pensacon in a week and a half from now, and we are going to be doing a Doctor Who panel at Pensacon on February 25th at 12:15 p.m. through 1 p.m. and that's Central Time, folks, not Eastern. We will be doing Doctor Who, out with the old, in with the new. So we'll be talking all about Jodie. We'll be talking about the 14th Doctor and probably the 15th Doctor.
We won't be ragging on Chris Chibnall at all.
No, not at all. If me and Mary are up there, watch out, folks. We'll time it to see how long it'll take for his name to come up. So it'll be a ton of fun. Mr. Mike, we will miss you at that show, my friend.
Yeah, I wish I could be there. I wish I could be there.
So, but please definitely stop by. There's 14 Doctor Who guests at this show at Pensacon this year, and to help celebrate the 60th anniversary. So
that's awesome.
Kudos to you, Pensacon, for doing that. And that's part of the reason we decided we wanted to go, because, give a chance to see some of these folks and, also to harass Mark Maddox, but that's just normal. So it should be a ton of fun.
To do that.
So definitely check out.
That's what I'm going to miss the most.
So of course, check out pensacon.com and you should be able to see schedules. You should be able to check out, where we'll be. And we have ESO has 3 panels over the weekend. So it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 24th, 25th, and 26th. So definitely check it out. It's a ton of fun from what I hear. And you know what? Until next time, folks, my name's Mike Faber. We will see you here on Earth Station Who. Peace. And we are done.
Woohoo!
Boom.
You have been listening to Earth Station Who, a bi-weekly pop culture podcast dedicated to all things Doctor Who, featuring talents from across the universe. All topics on the show are the sole opinions of the individual and are used for entertainment value alone. You can subscribe to our podcast up on iTunes, Stitcher, or follow our blog at www.esopodcast.com. You can also follow us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. If you enjoyed the show, please leave feedback up on iTunes.
Attention, people of Earth! Looking for a way to kill half an hour every week?
Try the Flopcast. It's a silly podcast about cartoons, music, comics, movies, obscure pop culture from the 70s and 80s, and chickens.
Join us! Bring coffee!
We're on the ESO network.
And we're at flopcast.net.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.